marriages, they break, not because we fight it, it's because we're not keeping the Sabbath. That is the main reason. And his argument is based on Matthew chapter 5. I think it's just 18, I'm not sure. Where Jesus says that if you come to the place of worship and then you remember that, hey, there's a brother that messed up, did me wrong. He says, leave. This is Jesus speaking. Leave the sacrifice and go before you can worship. Imagine if Sabbath was a day of reconciliation. You would not have baggage that has been there for years. Now we have to remind each other, you did this in 2004. But the Sabbath came. How many Sabbaths have come? An opportunity for us. So it's not a reconciliation just with God, but with men as well. That's what the Sabbath is. So after Sabbath, so that can you see how beautiful this thing is? Everyone is looking forward. Even those who have messed up, they know good Sabbath are going to be forgiven. And some of us are here, but we've never kept any Sabbath. As long as there's someone in our lives that we do not speak to. Until we are reconciled, then we can start keeping the Sabbath. You may be physically here, but you've never begun. Did you hear what I just said in church? So this thing of the Sabbath is a very big thing. That's why I call it in Hebrews 4. You remember the argument. There's a rest. This thing is a foretaste of heaven. We are given a foretaste of how heaven will be. Every week God says, come to heaven. And then you taste heaven. Then you can go back, but at least you remember how heaven is. That's what the Sabbath is. Okay, so they will pray. Then they call the Sabbath the Queen. Queen Sabbath. It's like, yeah, we anticipate the Queen is coming. Then they will pray, and then they will eat, and then they will go and sleep. Then the following day, the meal as well is out of the world. Imagine the children who grow up in that environment. You can take them out wherever they will remember the Sabbath food. And by extension, they will remember the Sabbath. And by extension, the Lord of the Sabbath. Because the Sabbath is associated with pleasure. Not something, hey, I have to keep the Sabbath. Hey, see this thing, hey, hey. It's strenuous. This thing is strenuous. We skip the Sabbath. No one is looking forward to this thing. Listen to what they ask. Let me read the statement. Okay, Malcolm. I was saying it's not two statements that color us, but never mind that. It's not two so color, and then there are others that I'm going to look at. This one is a by the way. Okay, tell them when, and then I'll read the statement.
No. This beautiful narration from the perspective of someone who has a Jewish background. Now, we have the arguments of, let's say, now Sabbath-keeping Christians. And some are even who maybe would need to go deeper to have the Jewish understanding of how the Sabbath should be kept. Now, we need to have someone with a Jewish background in order for us to get to a deeper understanding of what Sabbath is. Because even in our literature, it doesn't start the way you have put it now. Can you imagine if you were creating Sabbath like that? Yes, I know, and I'm going to because it was beautiful. So I about I wish we were the classic. Anyway, but Friday, I'm going to get Polish, then so people with some, you don't know who were everyone. But the perspective of Jews, how they kept the Sabbath, I feel like then we maybe theologically deeper to mine that information so that we can practice that?
I think yes and no. Like you said, Adventists at some point, like with everything, I think about Baghdad, like Sabbath, those who grew in the church, they have that experience sometimes get about because when something people think it's bad, I think it's the best thing. I think it's the best thing. One, it gives you institutional memory as well, and that is good. Sometimes we miss that. We don't have institutional memory. Of course, it can be bad sometimes, but there's good things that you can get on how things. Those people were not sophisticated, but they did things properly. Maybe not all of them, but they did not read anything Jewish history, but somehow you will see when you read the spiritual prophecies also there. And that is the intent of why I'm saying what I'm saying. But it may be also useful to go and check out how these people kept the Sabbath. You're going to be talking about your first corner and those are yeah. Let me read the statement, then I have found, this is child guidance. Everything I'm going to read will be from child guidance, chapter 79. I found that on the Sabbath day, many are indifferent and do not know where their children are or what they are doing. Where are your children? Wait for the statement. Let me read it again, and I'll read the next part. I read it in my church as well, once before. I have found that on the Sabbath day, many are indifferent and do not know where their children are or what they are doing. Parents, above everything else, take care of your children upon the Sabbath. Do not suffer them to violate God's holy day by playing in the house or out of doors. You may just as well break the Sabbath yourselves as to let your children do it. And when you suffer your children to wander about and suffer them to play upon the Sabbath, God will support you as Sabbath breakers. That was, by the way, that is not what I want to say. Here's what I want to say. The parents may take their children outdoors to view God in nature. They can be pointed to the blooming flowers and the open bars, the lofty trees, and taught that God made all this in 6 days and rested on the 7th day and hallowed it. Thus the parents may bind upon their lessons of instructions to their children, so that when these children look up upon the things of nature, they will call to mind the great creator of them all. Their thoughts will be carried up to nature's God, back to the creation of our world, when the foundation of the Sabbath was laid. We are not to teach our children that they must not be happy on the Sabbath, that it is wrong to walk out of doors. Oh no. Christ led his disciples out by the lakeside on the Sabbath day and taught them. His sermons on the Sabbath were not always preached within enclosed walls. Teach the children to see Christ in nature. Take them out into the open air under the noble trees into the garden and in all the wonderful works of creation. Teach them to see an expression of his love. Teach them that he made the laws which govern only this food, and then I will talk. Just a bigger portion. Teach them that he made the laws which govern all living things, that he has made laws for us, and that these laws are for our happiness and joy. Do not weary them with long prayers and tedious exhortations. And if just this part. Do not weary them with long prayers and tedious exhortations, but through nature's object lesson, teach them obedience to the law of God. How can children receive a more correct knowledge of God and their minds be better impressed than in spending a portion of their time out of doors, not in play, but in company with their parents? Let their young minds be associated with God in the beautiful scenery of nature. Let their attention be called to the tokens of his love to men and misgive others. why not make use of the precious lessons which God has given us in the book of nature to give our children a correct idea of His character? The value of the Sabbath is as a means of education is beyond estimate. Whatever of ours God claims from us, He returns again and rich transfigured and His own glory. The Sabbath and the family were instituted in Eden. In God's purpose, they are indissolubly linked together. On this day, more than on any other, it is possible for us to live the life of Eden. Make the Sabbath a delight. All who love God, they want to make the Sabbath a delight. The specific, and one of the things that I found, we cannot specify and say this, but here's a principle, make it a delight. That's a principle. So this may mean something to your family. It may mean something else to someone else. What a delight is. In Target was full of creative. You may not do what this family is doing, but at least make it a delight. That's a principle. Sabbath was Mabonwa the Sabbath. Mabonwa during the Sabbath about Sabbath. And the good little consistent person that didn't know. They cannot do this by seeking their own pleasure in the sinful, forbidden amusement. Yet they can do much to exalt the Sabbath of their families and make it the most interesting day of the week. We should devote time to interesting our children. The change will have a heavy influence upon them. We can walk out with them in the open air, we can sit with them in the cruise and in the bright sunshine, and give their restless minds something to feed upon by conversing with them upon the works of God, and can inspire them with love and reverence by calling their attention to the beautiful objects of nature. You can read this when you have time.
Even though Sabbath emakhayeni usasibalini, but ayekho exactly the same indlela ekwenziwa ngayo emakhayeni. But yona nto yayibalulekile yayisenziwa ukuqinisekisa ukuba like xa ntshona ilanga ngesihlanu yayibona ugqityiwe kwenziwa whatever eza kwenziwa after kutshone ilanga yayibona imnandi yayibona and also le nto yokuhlala yabona xa ngesihlanu ilanga lasixa lisithi lithi miseniyile esikolweni nabuye esikolweni nibuye esikolweni niyazi ngoba nileqilasi nizohlamba after nigqiba ukuhlamba akuzophinde kusetyenzwe yabona akho mzophinde mhlawumbi uzakubeka isitya whatever yabona but akho msebenzi uzawuphinde wenze yabona xa ndicinga uba amakhaya ke ngoku ngabazali into yoba niba-creative nina as parents yabona wena ungumama usixelela uba mna kulale icala sizolalewanti yabona ukwenza kube mnandi notata kwelakhe icala benendlela yakhe yokumnandisa as that yabona kangangoba ukugcinwa kwesabatha ndinenkolelo yokokubana uzisa zawuthi imoya engcoli uba khona ekhayeni if ugcina isabatha manyana yabona because amava am asekubeni yabona ngesabatha ngolwesihlanu xa sesigqiba ulungiselela isabatha there's something endihlala ndikhumbula bahlala kwindaka ekhaya on a Friday eve yayibona because xa niklina namabala nitshayele yayibona uchaykwini like yonke into even yayibona it is the only day that you will see indaba ndandibonisa nje yazibona indaba zizobamkela isabatha nazo sasicinga uba nyazo zizovula isabatha yabona after that nazi indaba zalobona indaba zizovula isabatha ndifike zihlele emithini yabona andiboni indlela ndiyayi-understand into yoba iindaba ziyayithanda yayibona so sasibonisa uba iindaba zizovula isabatha nathi sesiklini sihlambile sigqibile yonke into side zicule yayibona isabatha ke siyayivula emakhaya nolohlobo emakhaya kuzihlamba hlezi ehlamba iifemeli zikuziwe kwelo khaya yabona so ndizama ukuthi nomnye xa ibalisa hlamba isabatha kwabo igcinwa kanjani ayizufana exactly nasekhaya kodwa into eqinisekileyo kulo khaya iyagcina isabathi mhlawumbi ngoba kuphekwa imacaroni cheese nesabathi ekhaya mhlawumbi kuphekwa into enkulu nesabathi yabo but ikhona yona into special nesabathi akuba yintoni na
ya lesabathi ngikhumbula ngepetisi
That's the question, why is it concept now? Because we don't think that people before the concept inside. So when it's very in between, I can't pay Sabbath.
Sabbath kuyasetshenzwa in case you do not know. Kuyasebenza ebongonzawo. Zabanzima ukuphuma kwamabhanditi kwendini. But I think it's that thing of the holy and the common. Maybe you might have added some things that are unnecessary as well. But remember, it does not mean she writes about that, but at the same time. It's just that our mindset moves from the common to the holy. So what we do, not that that is my understanding. We're doing some things, but now we're engaging when of the holy we live. This was a pleasure that we do no more. Not trying that up, but the other we get time. Okay, when I take the there.
We must attempt to think and I think even the neighbors themselves, now, there's a school, telling us, even the neighbors, there's a club until too many wounds. And they're trying to kill in line with washing, not because they understand anything about the Sabbath, but they see how to do things and your conduct.
That's very, I think my colleague, that it's very true. Remember, our responsibility is to teach model. It's not a guarantee. But what they're saying, model. Are we together? Sabbath might be attractive, let it be a delight. That is the principle. The second thing, the second thing that we find here, we are encouraged not to always spend time within the walls. Why? Because there are lessons that you will never learn inside these walls. There are lessons you will never get. You will never get until I had some verses there. Let me say this. Oh yes, he uses parables like answers only. He uses what? Nature. Do you know that Tikuya Shumaila would ask him? How poor Zabona nansi kati pa. Yelo kasho nyewa what does this out? Newa dizauti. Utito intakizo kutapa ngaku. Ubutito he wants to send a message. Liyaithetwa kuYesu. Oba as phambili yaphangela wena. But God takes care of them. Look at them. That's a sermon that God wants to preach to you when you visit. I want the sermon to tell I'm telling you, God speaks to us. Many lessons that you can never learn until you go. Let's let fans home to you. Let's tell you. Wakubona umthi uhleli emthunzini wawo. Okanye umthi usitya ifruit zawo. Kwani lokho bona umthi uyatya umthi. But umthi what does it do? Uyakhupha deep shades. Shade. Umthunzi. Faithful. Uzofuna step to Christ. What is zonke izinto ze-nature they give except for inhliziyo yomuntu wena uNtwana. UThixo leke izinto nje. He wants to teach us lessons.
Yes. Enkosi kakhulu. Khona umbuzo bukhe wathetha ngokudinwa. I think imisebenzi indlela edesignwe ngayo idesignwe in such a way that sihluleke udisengage. Uthi ngosowulapha ube engqondweni mandithi ikhona indawo esithi you need to plan your work to finish it within, but thina sisebenza is like a caffeine. I-caffeine mos ayina energy phaa kuyo, but you take i-energy yakho yangomso uyizise namhlanje so that ngomso ungabi nayo. So nathi apha evekini sithathe la mandla esabatha siwazise apha ngoku, then sifike sesidiniwe. 1 2 sithi sesilapha ufumanise uba ingqondo iza usolve ii-problems zento ongakhange uyisolve during the week okanye next week. Ngoku ulapha ngomzimba, then ke ngoku that thing iyakudinisa ufumanise uba you are not at rest because you're overworking yourself okanye ngosowulapha ube usasolva izinto.
And it makes sense. Sometimes sisebenza too much like that. Sifike esabatheni asikhona uThixo sinoba sayenza ngathi. Sisebenza amazwi of course, but in essence uthi ifike esabathe konke yo. Hayi ufuna kwani ukonzela ufuna ukwenza kwani masabani indlela endidinwe ngayo andifuni ukwenza kwani othi and I think that is a strategy discussed that because once you rob us of the experience of enjoying Sabbath. Yes.
Satan hates the fact that he knows keeping the Sabbath holy exposes that he's not a Now hence he allows us